Because they are the rarest breed, there are certain habits that only Sigma males have. While some of these habits may seem weird or even crazy, they ultimately help to set Sigma males apart from the rest of the pack. And this is often the reason why they are misunderstood. They are highly appealing to women since they appear to be self-sufficient and capable of meeting their own needs without depending on others. They're frequently described as lone wolves, unemotional, and even cold, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Sigma males are simply very good at hiding their emotions. In fact, they often feel things more deeply than others, but they have learned to keep their emotions in check. Sigmas are natural leaders, but often prefer to lead from the shadows. They're not the type to seek out the spotlight or look for recognition. Instead, they prefer to let their actions speak for themselves. While some people might see them as aloof or unapproachable, Sigma men are simply more comfortable observing from the sidelines. Here are 11 weird habits only Sigma males have. 1. They get bored very easily. Sigmas quickly get bored with anything that feels too monotonous or routine. They need constant stimulation to keep their minds sharp, and they get antsy when they have to sit still for too long. This is why they hate small talk or anything that feels superficial. Talking about the weather or the latest celebrity gossip is a complete waste of time for them. They'd much rather have a deep and meaningful conversation about something they're passionate about. Sigma men are often described as intellectuals since they love learning new things and expanding their horizons. They're always looking for ways to grow and evolve, both mentally and emotionally. Sigmas might have trouble sitting through a long movie or reading a book from start to finish, especially if it's not the type of story that captivates them. They can easily get distracted and their minds will wander off. This is why they prefer shorter movies or books that are easy to digest. They need to be able to process information quickly and don't like anything that feels too slow-paced. Sigma men are always looking for ways to optimize their lives. They're never pleased with just sitting back and letting life happen to them. Instead, they're always looking for ways to take control and make things happen. 2. They might leave a situation suddenly. If Sigma males are in the middle of a boring meeting or conference, they can easily slip out unnoticed. They're not the type to make a scene or draw attention to themselves. While others might view this as rude, Sigmas simply don't see the point in sticking around in a place or situation they don't feel comfortable in. They don't like explaining themselves to anyone for their choices and would rather just leave quietly. This habit often surprises others since they don't know where the Sigma went or what they're up to. But he doesn't need to share their every move with others, especially when he has to interrupt them. They prefer to keep to themselves and only involve others when they think it's absolutely necessary. While this might not be the best habit in every situation, it does show that Sigma males are independent and don't feel the need to conform to societal norms. That's why they are often called lone wolves. 3. They don't speak unless necessary. Sigma men don't feel the need to fill every silence with meaningless chatter. Instead, they prefer to let their actions do the talking. They believe that actions speak louder than words and are often more interested in what someone does than what they say. They know that words are easy to say, but actions are much harder to fake. This doesn't mean they're not capable of speaking, but they generally only say what needs to be said. They prefer to listen more than they talk, and are usually the ones asking the questions. Sometimes it's better to stay silent and let others do the talking. This allows you to gather information and learn more about the situation. It also allows you to avoid saying something that you might later regret. Sigma understands this and uses silence to his advantage. They know when to speak up and when to stay silent. This helps them in all areas of life, from business to love. 4. They rarely show their emotions or tell people how they feel. Sigma males are not the type of people who wear their heart on their sleeve. They often keep their emotions to themselves and rarely share how they're feeling with others. This stoic exterior can make them seem unapproachable or even unfriendly. But the truth is, they just don't see the need to share their feelings with everyone they meet. Sigma men are very private and prefer to keep their thoughts to themselves. This doesn't mean they don't have feelings, but they don't express them the same way as other people. They're not controlled by their emotions, and they can remain level-headed in difficult situations. This allows them to make decisions based on logic rather than emotion. And while they might not always show it, they do have a deep capacity for empathy and compassion. While they might not be the type to show their emotions, they're usually quick to comfort others who are going through a tough time. Sigma males are often seen as the strong, silent type. But just because they don't share their feelings doesn't mean they don't have them. They're just more selective about who they share them with. 5. They often prefer solo activities. Sigma males tend to enjoy activities that allow them to focus on their own thoughts and goals. While they are not always the life of the party, they usually prefer solo activities because they can fully immerse themselves in action without distractions. This allows them to achieve a sense of flow state where they're completely focused and in the moment. And when they're able to reach this state, they often feel more creative and productive. Many activities can be enjoyed alone, and many people who identify as Sigma enjoy having time to themselves. They might prefer reading, playing chess, working on a hobby, or spending time in nature. This doesn't mean they don't like being around others, but they often feel more comfortable when they're not the center of attention. While some people might see this as a sign of shyness, it's actually more of a preference for enjoying their own company. 6. Their ability to read people is mind-blowing. Sigma males are very observant and have a keen understanding of human behavior. They can often sense when something is off or when someone is lying. They're not only good at reading verbal cues, but can also pick up on nonverbal cues that others might miss. This allows them to understand what someone is really saying, even if they're not saying it explicitly. They can easily see through the facade and get to the root of what someone is really thinking or feeling. Sigma males can spot a fake person from a mile away. You can fool some people, but you can't fool a Sigma. They see right through your act and know what you're really up to. This ability to read people helps them in all areas of their life. It allows them to form deeper relationships, understand complex situations, and make better decisions. It also helps them to see potential problems before they happen, and it gives them an edge in negotiations. 7. They have a constant sense of curiosity. Sigma males are always questioning things and have difficulty taking anything at face value. They need to see evidence before they're willing to believe something. While others might be okay with following the rules or going along with the status quo, Sigma men always need to know why things are the way they are. And if they don't like the answer, they're not afraid to speak up or go against the grain. This habit often gets them into trouble since they're constantly challenging authority figures or those in a position of power. Sigma men are very curious people and have a hard time accepting things without knowing the whole story. This often makes them question the trustworthiness of others, especially if they have met them recently. They don't trust people easily and need to see proof that someone is genuine before they're willing to let their guard down. This is because they have been burned in the past by those who weren't as honest as they seemed. So they prefer to keep their distance until they're sure someone can be trusted. They're not easily fooled by anyone, no matter how charming or convincing they may be. 8. They're comfortable with being alone. Sigma males are independent and perfectly comfortable with spending time by themselves. They don't need to be around others to feel happy or fulfilled. This is one of the reasons why they're often seen as loners. While others might feel antsy or bored when alone, Sigma males enjoy having some time to themselves. They use this time to reflect on their lives, work on personal projects, or just relax and unwind. Being alone gives them a chance to recharge their batteries and prepare for social interactions. It's also a time when they can be completely honest with themselves without anyone else's opinion clouding their judgment. Sigma males are perfectly satisfied with being single since they don't feel the need to be in a relationship just for the sake of it. They'd rather wait for the right person to come along instead of settling for someone who's not a good fit. And even when they're in a relationship, they still maintain their independence. They don't give up their hobbies or interests just because their partner doesn't share them. 9. They don't always like compliments. Sigma men aren't the type of people who need constant validation. They're confident in themselves and don't need others to tell them what they're doing right. In fact, they often shy away from compliments because they feel like they don't need them. We live in a world where compliments are often insincere. People often give compliments just to make someone feel good or to get something in return. Sigmas can see right through this and are not impressed by false flattery. This doesn't mean that Sigmas don't like compliments, but they prefer genuine ones. What makes them feel good is when people listen to them and follow their advice. It's okay to compliment a Sigma every now and again, but you should ensure it's sincere. They prefer quality over quantity and would rather have a few close friends than many acquaintances. If you compliment a Sigma too often, they might not believe any of your compliments. 10. They have a vivid imagination. Sigma males often have very active minds and always think about something. They can often be found daydreaming or lost in thought. This is because they have vivid imaginations and are always looking for new ways to explore their creativity. They try to see the world in new and different ways. While some people can't imagine anything beyond what they can see in front of them, Sigma males often have no trouble picturing things that don't exist. They can see patterns and connections that others simply can't. While some people might see this as a bad thing, Sigma men use their imagination to their advantage. They're constantly coming up with new ideas and ways to improve things. This creativity is one of the Sigma males' most valuable assets. It allows them to approach problems from a different perspective and come up with innovative solutions. It also allows them to think outside the box and see potential where others might not. They have a rich inner life, and they're always looking for new ways to express themselves. The Sigma's imagination is one of their most defining features. 11. They want to be in control of their environment. They are very particular about their environment and often prefer to be in control of their surroundings. They like to manage their environment to suit their needs and feel uncomfortable when things are out of place. This need for control can often lead to them being seen as perfectionists. While some people are okay with a little bit of chaos, Sigma males prefer to have a space that is clean and organized. This is because they find it easier to focus when their environment is in order. When their surroundings are cluttered or messy, it can be distracting and make it difficult to stay on task. So they often take measures to keep their space tidy and free of clutter. When talking about people, Sigmas tend to be highly selective about the company they keep. They prefer to surround themselves with those who share their values and can have meaningful conversations with. They don't waste their time with superficial relationships. They might have fewer friends, but their friendships are usually much deeper and more meaningful.